The air in Genoa City is thick with secrets and suspicion, and over the next 2 explosive weeks, the fragile foundations of several lives will be cracked wide open. From the corporate battlefields of Newman Media and Jabot Collective to the deeply personal wars being waged behind closed doors, no one will be safe from the fallout. As alliances fracture and desperate truths come to light, one thing becomes terrifyingly clear: every action has a devastating consequence. Audra's web of deception unravels. At the center of the coming storm is Audra Charles. For weeks, she has been playing a dangerous game, presenting a facade of cool, corporate control. But that facade is about to shatter into a million pieces. Her awful secret is not a single, solitary fact, but a tangled web of past decisions now coming due with vicious interest. The primary threat comes in the form of a mysterious figure from her past, someone she believed was buried in the history she worked so hard to escape. This individual, connected to her tumultuous time in New York, knows the truth about the unethical and potentially illegal maneuvers she used to climb the corporate ladder. They possess evidence of confidential information she traded, the careers she deliberately sabotaged, and the lies she told under oath during a sealed deposition. This isn't just about professional ambition, it's about criminal culpability. Kyle Abbott, believing himself to be Audra's cunning partner, is about to get a crash course in just how deep her deception runs. He initially approaches their alliance with a smug confidence, seeing her as his perfect weapon to topple Billy and Jack and claim his birthright at Jabot. But when he stumbles upon a cryptic email and overhears a panicked, hushed phone call Audra has with a lawyer, he realizes he's in bed with a viper. The stakes are no longer about corporate titles and stock options. They're about federal investigations and prison sentences. Kyle confronts Audra, demanding to know what she's involved in. At first, she tries to deflect with seduction and sharp words, but as the external pressure mounts, she breaks down in a rare, unvarnished moment of terror. She reveals that the person from her past is not just a whistleblower, but a blackmailer, demanding an exorbitant sum of money to disappear forever. Money she doesn't have. Her secret is not just her past actions, but her present, desperate vulnerability. Kyle is left reeling, forced to decide if he should cut ties and run to save himself or double down and help her, thereby making himself an accessory to her crimes. Their entire plan to seize power at Jabot is put on hold as they fight for their very freedom. Jack's world craters as panic sets in. Across town, Jack Abbott is about to face a crisis that strikes at the very heart of his identity, both as a man and as the patriarch of Jabot. The panic that grips him is multifaceted, a perfect storm of corporate and personal betrayals that leaves him feeling isolated and unsure of who to trust. The first blow lands from an unexpected direction: his brother, Billy. Jack, having extended an olive branch by bringing Billy back into the Jabot fold, is horrified to discover that Billy has been operating his own shadow project. When Jack uncovers evidence that Billy has been using Jabot resources to secretly develop a competing digital media platform, a direct challenge to the newly formed Jabot Collective, he feels a betrayal so profound it takes his breath away. The long, painful history between them, the addiction, the betrayals, the fight for Phyllis, comes roaring back. Jack's panic isn't just about business. It's the heart-wrenching realization that the cyclical nature of his and Billy's relationship may never be broken. Simultaneously, the corporate threat from Kyle and Audra begins to materialize. Kyle, emboldened by his mother Diane's position and his own simmering resentment, makes a bold power play. He presents a shockingly detailed proposal to the board, outlining a new vision for Jabot that conveniently positions him as the clear leader, effectively sidelining both Jack and Billy. The proposal is brilliant, ruthless, and leverages insider information that Kyle should not have access to. Jack panics, realizing that the company his father built is being hijacked from within his own family. He works frantically with his longtime ally, Nikki Newman, to shore up support, but finds the board members are intrigued by Kyle's aggressive, youth-oriented strategy. The final, most devastating layer of Jack's panic is deeply personal. In his fight to save his company, he turns to his wife, Diane, expecting her unwavering support. To his horror, he finds her strangely ambivalent, even defensive of Kyle's ambition. A series of tense arguments erupt in the Abbott mansion. Diane, torn between her husband and her son, struggles to navigate the impossible position she's in. Jack, feeling cornered and paranoid, begins to question everything. Is Diane truly on his side? Has her reformation been a lie? Is she secretly aiding Kyle's coup? The foundation of his hard-won marital bliss begins to crumble, and the panic Jack feels is that of a man losing everything: his company, his brother, and, potentially, the love of his life. All at once. Victor's grand design and Victoria's revenge. At Newman Enterprises, Victor is playing 4D chess, while everyone else is playing checkers. His decision to install Adam at the helm of Newman Media was not a whim, but a calculated move with multiple endgames in sight. Over these 2 weeks, we see his master plan begin to unfold. He is testing Adam's loyalty and capabilities, yes, but he is also deliberately provoking Victoria and Nick to gauge their reactions. He wants to see who is truly fit to lead his empire, and he's not above setting the entire board on fire to find out. Victoria, still seething from what she perceives as a monumental humiliation, refuses to go quietly. She begins her own covert operations, reaching out to key clients and board members to undermine Adam's authority before he even has a chance to solidify his position. She plants seeds of doubt about Adam's stability and his commitment to the Newman name. Her campaign of revenge is cold, precise, and utterly ruthless. She even makes a surprising overture to Nick, suggesting a temporary truce to combat their father's tyranny and their brother's usurpation. Nick, however, is preoccupied with his own turmoil. His relationship with Sally is reaching a critical breaking point. He wants a future, a family, a commitment. Sally, while loving Nick, is still grappling with the ghost of Adam and the trauma of losing their child. She throws herself into her work at Newman Media, now under Adam's leadership, creating an unbearably tense dynamic. Nick grows increasingly frustrated and distant, confiding in Sharon about his fears that he and Sally want fundamentally different things. Sharon, ever the peacemaker, tries to advise him, but her own complicated history with the Newman brothers makes her counsel a minefield. The tension between the Newman siblings comes to a head at a high-stakes launch event for a new Newman Media initiative. Adam, wanting to make his mark, has taken colossal risks without Victoria's sign-off. Victoria, seeing her opening, publicly eviscerates his strategy in front of the entire company, laying bare the flaws and potential financial ruin it could bring. The confrontation is a spectacle of familial hatred, leaving Adam shaken and Victor watching from the shadows with a faint, unreadable smile. The game for him is. While the Abbotts and Newmans wage war, the rest of Genoa City's residents are facing their own life-altering crossroads. Chance and Sharon. Chance, still finding his footing at the GSPD, is assigned a case that hits dangerously close to home, involving corporate espionage with ties to the powerful families of Genoa City. His investigation inadvertently leads him to evidence connected to Audra's secret, putting him on a collision course with Kyle and the Abbott Empire. His relentless pursuit of the truth strains his relationship with Sharon, who fears the darkness of his job will consume the good man she's come to love. She urges him to consider a different path, perhaps even a role at Kirsten Incorporated, forcing Chance to confront what he truly wants for his future. Nate and Elena. Nate's ambition continues to be his driving force. With Victoria sidelined, he sees an opportunity to increase his own influence at Newman Enterprises, strategically aligning himself with Adam while secretly assuring Victoria of his loyalty. He is playing all sides, and the strain is beginning to show. Elena, watching his moral compass spin, grows increasingly disillusioned. A heartfelt and painful conversation forces Nate to defend his choices, arguing that in the cutthroat world of the Newmans, you either play the game or get played. His words leave Elena wondering if the man she fell in love with is still in there, or if he's been permanently replaced by a corporate climber. Daniel and Lily. At Chancellor Winters, the partnership between Daniel and Lily is proving to be a formidable success. However, their professional harmony is threatened by personal complications. Heather Stevens returns to Genoa City, eager to reconnect with her daughter Lucy, and it becomes clear, with Daniel as well. Lucy, caught between her mother and the stable life Daniel is building with Lily, acts out, creating tension in the Winters household. Devin, ever the protective brother and voice of reason, warns Lily that blending a family is complicated enough without an ex-wife in the picture. Lily is forced to decide how much of her heart and her family's peace she is willing to risk for love. Phyllis and Tucker. Phyllis Rogers, ever the survivor, is watching the chaos unfold with a keen eye. She sees Audra's desperation and Kyle's ambition as potential opportunities. She begins her own subtle manipulations, feeding information to both Billy and Jack, not out of altruism, but to keep the Abbott pot stirred, ensuring she remains a relevant player in the game. Tucker, meanwhile, is lurking on the periphery, his motives as inscrutable as ever. He makes a pointed, cryptic comment to Jack at the athletic club, warning him that the enemy in plain sight is often the one you break bread with, further fueling Jack's paranoia about his own family. As the week of November 14th concludes, Genoa City is a powder keg. Audra is one demand away from total exposure. Jack is isolated and preparing for a last stand. The Newman family is in open civil war. And through it all, the looming question remains: who will be left standing when the smoke finally clears? Tune in for 2 weeks of breathtaking drama on The Young and the Restless. The Young and the Restless, YNR, spoilers update for the week of November 3rd to 7th reveals that Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, will spill his side of the story while Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, totally loses it. Victor Newman, Eric Braden, will get sneaky as well. So here's what viewers can look forward to. In Los Angeles, Mitch Bacall, Roger Howarth, will go into full denial mode as he faces Sharon Newman, Sharon Case. So, he won't confess to being Matt Clark, at least not yet. Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, will rush to Mitch's defense during a tense discussion with Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, but she'll seem rattled about all the Matt accusations. At the hospital, Noah will wake up and ultimately get his bandages taken off. YNR fans will see Noah reconnect with his parents and offer his side of the story. Sharon and Nick will want Noah's version of the Canyon events, but they'll also ask about his visits to the Shadow Room and wonder why he's been so secretive for months. Later, Nick will catch Mitch, aka Matt, by surprise, so a fierce face-off is brewing. Like Sharon, Nick will know for sure he's looking into the eyes of his worst enemy. It's clear that Matt has an agenda involving Noah, so Nick will demand some answers, though Matt may not give him much information. Back with Sienna, she'll clam up when the cops come knocking. Sienna will hide her trail when it comes to the police and presumably protect Mitch, aka Matt, too. Since Matt was previously obsessed with Sharon, Nick will have good reasons to worry about her. You can bet Nick will show off his protective side, but that may not be enough to keep Sharon out of danger. While Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, deals with suspicions regarding Noah's crash, Victor will be busy plotting back in Genoa City. It turns out Victor will come up with a sneaky strategy, so maybe he'll create a distraction as he unleashes the AI program. Trouble is brewing at Jabot, but Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, will still make time for concerns about Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, and her growing bond with Holden Novak, Nathan Owens. Although Kyle will want updates on Holden and Audra Charles's Zuleika Silver buried history, he'll soon become more interested in what Claire's been doing with Holden in LA. Will Claire admit she hit the sheets with Holden or keep that news to herself for now? Whatever the case, Audra will cause some LA drama during her own trip there, but Holden will try to cover for her. Finally, The Young and the Restless spoilers say Lily will totally lose it on Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, so her patience will officially run out. The Young and the Restless, YNR, spoilers update for Monday, November 3rd, reveals that Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, will threaten to ban Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, from the club and will deny that Mitch Bacall, Roger Howarth, is Matt Clark. In Los Angeles, Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, will feel like a new person after going wild with Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, in bed and will claim she doesn't have any regrets. However, Claire will look rather conflicted once she's alone and thinking of Kyle. Once Claire sees the photo Kyle and Harrison Abbott, Redding Munsell, took in their Halloween costume, That'll clearly weigh on her. Claire will confide in Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, after summoning her mom to her suite. Although Claire will hype up all the incredible things Holden's shown her in Los Angeles, she'll feel guilty about missing Halloween with Harrison. Victoria won't think there's any need for that guilt, and will wonder who Claire actually feels she's letting down, Harrison or Kyle. Back in Genoa City on Monday's YNR episode, Kyle will complain about Holden and fret over perhaps never getting his relationship with Claire back on track. After Kyle tells Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, about his goal of exposing Holden and Audra Charles's Zuleika Silver secret, Jack will warn Kyle that he could seem jealous and pushy. Even if Kyle has to risk losing Claire permanently, he'll feel the need to open her eyes about Holden for her own protection. In Los Angeles again, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, will continue reeling at the sight of Matt Clark, who's supposed to be dead. Mitch will insist Sharon is mistaken and head inside the club after telling his bouncer to keep her out. Sharon will try and fail to get back in the shadow room, so she'll return to the hospital instead.